We've got some Week 8 OFL football as the 4-3 New York Giants head out to Ford Field to take on the 6-1 Detroit Lions. And it's been an interesting year for the Lions. Of course, head coach Ian Billmeyer was ranked dead last in the coach rankings, but he has the best record in the conference, so he's doing something right. And meanwhile, these Giants, led by coach Patrick Starr, are also potentially in place for a playoff run. But for right now, that will not be with Andrew Luck, as he is hurt. Josh McCown is the quarterback, and as you can see by that pass, it's not as good as Andrew Luck. So here's the Lions. Cam Newton connecting with his tight end. That's Kyle in the red zone reindeer. Kyle Rudolph, the red zone reindeer. Shout out to AP with that one. And then from the 3-yard line, Cam Newton, he's going to roll out, and he's going to go out. Sacked by Clay, the blonde locks Matthews. I know a thing or two about the blonde locks. And then 3rd and goal, handoff would be unsuccessful as Wayne Gallman loses a yard or two, stuffed up immediately in the backfield. So that'll force a Lion field goal. They take a 3-0 lead. That would bring us to the Giants, of course, led by the ageless wonder, 87 years old, Josh McCown, as it's a handoff and the ball is loose. Luke Kuechly forces it, and Terrell Suggs, T-Sizzle, with the recovery. So the Lions have it back. Cam Newton fumbles it. However, it would be recovered by a Lion offensive lineman, but still a nice play from Eddie Goldman, the former Seminole. So now 3rd down here for the Giants. McCown, the old man, he would connect his first good pass of the day for a nice gain of 9 plus 10. And then 2nd and 2 from the 48. McCown, who's been on about 17 teams, the old man, the ancient one, would be intercepted. You can't spell intercepted without the D. That's Pierre Desir with the pick. He is untouched like weekend homework. And the Lions will take a 10-0 lead. And then one old man sacks another one. That's T-Sizzle, Terrell Suggs, with the sack for Defensive Player of the Year back when he was in the NFL. But now he's in the OFL. Times have changed. As Cam Newton is sacked, Clay Matthews with his second of the day. So let's go second half now. There's Kerryon Johnson, as he did not have a great start to this game, but as you would see, he picked it up later. Johnson breaking a tackle, and he finds the end zone for a Detroit touchdown. He looks weird at number 38. That does not look right, as the Lions would make it 17-0, and then they block the Giants' punt. This is the 3rd straight episode where we've seen a block punt, and that will lead to a score for guess who? When in doubt, as the great Roland Poison once said, keep calm and carry on. So I decided to simulate because this game was kind of looking like a blowout, and the Lions win with ease, 34-8. They improved to, or 34-15, sorry. Giants scored a late touchdown. So that makes the Lions 6-1. And don't watch out, but here comes the Lions, and they could make a run this year in the postseason. Giants, meanwhile, 4-4. I think they will end up being a wild card team when it's all said and done, but they do have some work to do. So let's check out the scores from the rest of the league. Redskins lose to the Vikings, and my goodness, Washington has been a fall from grace this year. Starting off 3-0, they looked great. Then they had that blowout loss to the Giants, and they've just fallen apart. They've lost their last 5 games. They have fallen to 3-5, losing to a team that's supposedly tanking. Seahawks beat the Atlanta Falcons, as Seattle is now 5-3, and it's been a shaky start to the season for Seattle, but it really seems like they're starting to figure things out and starting to get where they need to be. This is one of the most talented teams in the OFL, and once they get in the right spot, they'll be good as gold. The Bucs beat the Tennessee Titans, and Tennessee is another team who's sort of fallen off the face of the earth, starting off 4-1, but they've lost 3 in a row. Russell Wilson has been incredible this season, but he's only been able to carry this team to 4 wins. Bucs, meanwhile, improve to 5-3. The Cardinals get back on the win streak as they won their first 3 games, then lost their next 4, and here they defeat the Saints. Huge rushing game from Joe Mixon, who's had a pretty quiet season, and New Orleans, who started off 0-2, has won 5 straight before losing this game. So as you can see, lots of streaks are ending and continuing in case of the Redskins. Bengals beat the Rams, so Cincinnati is 7-1. Do they have a 7-0 or 7-1 roster? I wouldn't say so, but they have played some darn good football this season, and are they contenders or pretenders? We'll have to find out as the season plays along. Jets beat the Jaguars. Jacksonville's really struggled in recent weeks, losing their past few in a row. This one to a tanking Jets team. Luckily for the Jags, they're not in a great division by any means, so they can easily get back in this playoff race. But right now, they're not playing some great football. As the Jets, I believe this is their second win of the year, might be their third, I'm not sure. Eagles beat the Bills, not too much of a surprise here. Buffalo continues to tank. Eagles now take sole possession of first place in the ONFC East with a 5-3 record, as I think the Eagles could surprise some people. And in an NFC where there's no clear favorite, I could really see Coach Apple appearing in his second OFL Bowl, and the Eagles potentially going far in the postseason. Chargers win streak lives on. They get an overtime victory over the Bears. Chicago is the worst roster in the league. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. They have plenty of draft capital, but they're not supposed to do well this year, and they only have 2 wins. But the past 2 games they theoretically could have won. Remember last week, if it weren't for Jake Elliott missing the game-winning field goal. Next up, Raiders demolish the Texans 31-3 in annihilation. Oakland is the only team in the league without a coach, and it doesn't seem like they need a coach. Niners beat the Panthers pretty easily. Carolina Panthers go down to 2-5. Meanwhile, my 49ers, the team that I'm using, goes up to 5-2, winners of 5 straight after starting things off 0-2. So we played some really good football and now are currently the 2 seed in the conference, just behind Detroit. And then maybe the strangest game of the week, Browns and Patriots. Browns put up a fight. They only lost by 3 in Deshaun Watson's debut. So New England, I believe, is either 6-1, 7-1, whatever they are. And the Browns are now 0-7, but I highly doubt Cleveland finishes 0-16. They made some moves this week, getting Deshaun Watson, Mike Daniels, DeMarcus Lawrence. They're looking like a respectable team now, and they made it close on the Patriots, who are definitely the favorites to win it all at this point. Speaking of favorites to win it all, my preseason favorite was the Broncos. They get a win over Indy, as that OAFC West is going to be a dogfight. Speaking of that division, Chiefs lose on Sunday Night Football to the Green Bay Packers. Not the best of performances from Wes Lunt, which is pretty rare to say. He's usually dominant because he's Wes friggin' Lunt, for crying out loud. And then last but not least, an upset. Dolphins lose in pretty big fashion to the Steelers. They now have DeMarcus Johnson, who was the coach of the Chiefs last year. He did appear in an LFL Bowl. And his first game as a Steeler is a win, as Miami goes down to 4-2-1. And I could see them making a run for that division, even though New England is incredible. So we're going to do something a little bit different next episode. 2 weeks worth of content. Week 9, I am making the executive decision to watch Cardinals and Niners. We haven't seen either of those 2 teams yet. I want to see them. And then for Week 10, we will have a vote. All games are fair game. So let's take a look at the standings now, starting the OAFC North. Bengals with a comfortable 2.5 game lead over Baltimore. Titans, half a game over the Texans, game over the Jaguars. That division will be interesting. Patriots with a solid lead over the Dolphins. And then in the OAFC West, that might be the most interesting division in the league, as it'll be a 3-headed race between the Chiefs, Chargers, and Broncos. Maybe the Raiders make a run. Lions should win the ONFC North pretty easily. Saints a game ahead, or half a game ahead of the Bucks, game ahead of the Falcons. In the East, the Eagles 1 game ahead of the Giants, 2 ahead of the Redskins. That'll be an interesting finish. And then in the West, Niners half a game ahead of Seattle. Arizona not too far behind as well. And then taking a look at the playoff seedings, Patriots 1, Bengals 2, Chiefs at 3, Titans 4, Dolphins 5, and then Chargers/Broncos for the 6th seed. And then in the ONFC, Lions 1, 49ers 2, Saints 3, Eagles 4, Seahawks 5, Bucks 6. But it'll be a dogfight for those wild card spots. Pretty much every team is still in it except for the Bears. I mean, they're the Bears. And then your players of the week are Le'Veon Bell, Jared Goff, Von Miller, and Matt Milano, all of whom They walked out of a week with a victory, and I guess that shows because they all played well. And now that we're week 9, we get to see the awards as of now, so that's pretty interesting, as Russell Wilson is the OFL MVP favorite. All quarterbacks here in the top 10, including rookie Dwayne Haskins. Coach of the Year favorite, this is an interesting one. That's currently Greg Terry. Ian Bill Myers at number 2. You like that, Alpo? As Alpo is at number 3, so I'm sure Ian being ahead of Alpo will be a meme. Favorite for Offensive Rookie of the Year, I think, or Offensive Player of the Year, I think that was Dak Prescott, if I'm not mistaken. Rashaan Evans for Defensive Player of the Year. Dwayne Haskins for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Deontay Thompson for AFC Defensive Rookie of the Year. Jared Goff for Best Quarterback. Best Running Back currently goes to Sony Michel, if only he could be the best running back on my fantasy team. Michael Thomas, top wide receiver. Best offensive lineman, Tyron Smith, followed by the entire Patriots. Defensive lineman, I believe that was Jerry Hughes. Linebackers, the old man, Lorenzo Alexander. Defensive backs is Stephon Gilmore. And then the best kicker is Michael Bagley. On to the NFC, the Offensive Player of the Year favorite right now is Baker Mayfield. Lamar Jackson and Kareem Hunt both there representing. The favorite for Defensive Player of the Year is Vince Williams. What kind of world do we live in? Offensive Rookie of the Year, Kyler Murray, followed shortly behind by Trace McSorley and Marquise Brown. And then look at my Niners, Devin White and Nasir Adderley, top 2 for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Top quarterback, I couldn't see it, but you guys saw it. Best running back, Melvin Gordon. Kareem Hunt right behind. Best wide receiver, Marquise Hollywood Brown at number 1. And as you'll see, the Niners are dominating these awards. Zach Martin for Best Offensive Lineman. Khalil Mack for Best Defensive Lineman. Best linebacker goes to Von Miller. And then his teammate, Best Defensive Back, Janoris the Jackrabbit Jenkins. And then the top kicker is Brett Maher. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Hit the like button and subscribe. Have a good one.